Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Purl of the Pacific. Today is Sunday, August 23rd. I am back on a normal recording schedule, and this is episode, 85. It's kind of exciting. Anyway, I hope you all had a good week, because it's actually been a week, which is exciting. And I have lots of things to show you, so that's also exciting. This is the episode of exciting things, maybe? We'll see. The first exciting thing that I have to tell you in Below the Conch Shell is that I have a giveaway for you all, which I think is also very exciting. I think this episode title is going to be the episode of exciting things, since that seems to be my word of the day. Anyway, which is another one of my common words, I was given this giveaway from Mel of Mel Ski Designs, or the With Mel podcast, and she contacted me and offered me this whole package of awesomeness, which I love. So thank you, Mel. I was really excited about that. She's a fellow Hawaiian, so that was really exciting. And it's called the 6 Bits Storybook for Knitters, which is a really interesting thing. I was reading up on it because she sent me a whole description and pictures and things like that. So I will be sharing those with you. And it's a publication that they're putting out quarterly, which you can buy a subscription of. I think it's $46 for the whole year. So you get 4. And in it, I think the first one, there's a ton of patterns. So you get a ton of patterns, you get stories, you get wonderful pictures, you get articles from photographers, from knitting designers, from all sorts of wonderful people. So I'm going to be purchasing this because I think this is awesome. And the patterns, most of the patterns I think will be available for separate purchase later on, but it's a much better deal to just get the whole package. And to me, it feels like an experience, which I think is really cool when someone does that with a publication, that it's an experience. You're supposed to immerse yourself in this story, and which I think is really exciting, for lack of a better word, because I really like to immerse myself in things, and so to have a knitting publication that you can really immerse yourself in is really nice. So, you all want to know what the giveaway is. I have 3 patterns. Canyon, Skyline, and Talus are the 3 patterns that I have to give away. So there will be 3 separate winners. And I will open up a thread in the Ravelry group, which is Knitted Paradise Podcast. And you can go over there and answer what prompt I come up with. It's going to be exciting. I'll think of something clever. I haven't thought of it yet, but I'll do that. Okay, now I can go. Now I can see myself and see what I'm showing you. Okay, so that's super exciting. The other exciting announcement I have is that I've got my website back up and running, which I said a few weeks ago, but I now have all the podcasts back up on there, so I've totally caught up. So if you follow the RSS feed in any sort of way, you will now have had 10 new episodes all at once, and you're wondering, where have I been? It's because I had to take my website down for a while, and now it's back up, and I put all of the videos and show notes back up there. So I have some plans for the website coming up, and I'm going to try to make it more of a focal point in the near future, putting more things there than in other places. So you can check that out, purlofthepacific.info. And yeah, so that's that. The other announcement I have is more of a question. And I was wondering if any of the local folks who watch the podcast would be interested in some sort of like a meetup or like a mini retreat kind of thing, where we get together and knit and talk about things. So let me know in the comments, probably in the Ravelry thread, if you're interested, if you live in the area and you're interested in that sort of thing or whatnot, because I thought that would be fun. It was really exciting to meet a lot of people at Stitches and hang out and I've gotten to connect with a lot of people since then and who live in the area, because a lot of people who went to Stitches live in the area. So that's been really exciting. And so I thought it'd be fun to organize some sort of meetup. So let me know if that's something that interests you. And also I'd like to know, like, how many of you actually live in the greater Chicago area, just so I can kind of get a feel of how many people there are here. All right, next on the island, I have some things. Yay! I pulled back out my summer sweater, which is loosely based on High Tide by Sara Gresbach, and I'm knitting it out of Rowan Creative Linen in Foggy Day, or Fog, I can't remember. Where is it? It's now hiding behind the thing. In Foggy. Okay, I was close, somewhere in the middle. So this is it so far, and I had put it away because I had realized I missed one of the increases, and so I had to rip back 6 or 7 rows. So I actually just sat down and did it, ripped back the 6 or 7 rows, added the increase, kept going, and I've now finished that ball, and I'm deciding how I want to do this. I'm deciding whether I want to knit the sleeves and then add them in and do, because I'm about to where I would add sleeves. But I think what I'm going to do, which I have to still figure out, which is why it's now put away for the time being, is what I'm going to do is knit the top, like cast off and knit the shoulders and the neckline how I want it, and then pick up around the armhole and then knit the sleeve down. That's kind of my thought, because then I can knit it. I'm worried about if I knit the sleeves, then I will run out of yarn for the top. I don't think this is going to be a problem, because these yarn balls have a lot more yarn than I think they do. I keep thinking, oh, I've got, 1 or 2 more rounds before I run out of this ball, and then like 6 or 7 rounds later, I still have yarn left. So they're kind of deceivingly large. So that is paused for the time being, but it will be picked back up shortly. And so I'm excited that that's back now that the summer's kind of over. It is morning, I would like to tell you, but it is very overcast, so the sunlight coming in is very minimal at the moment. I don't know, it's not really supposed to rain or storm, but I think it's going to. The next thing, that is in this bag. Okay, I thought I had my bags mixed up. I cast on the Peaceful Pullover, which I was so lovingly gifted by Amelia. And where's the front? There's the front. And I'm knitting this out of my Miss Babs Katahdin that I got last year at Stitches in First Choice is the colorway. And I know I'm terrible. I didn't do a swatch. I just started knitting. And I just used the recommended needle size because it's supposed to be, it's supposed to have positive ease. But I think I did try it on and it does fit, but I think it has a little more positive ease than I want, especially if it's going to stretch when I block it. So I may try and block what I have on the needles and see how that goes. It's also a lot looser gauge than I would normally do with the fingering. I mean, obviously fingering I usually use for socks, but this obviously isn't socks. So it is a little looser than I think I'd want it. So I think I am going to go down a needle size and, or maybe even 2 and then go up a size in the pattern. We'll see. And I am, excuse me, my voice just got really froggy all of a sudden. And I'm really enjoying it so far. It's really nice. It's just kind of relaxing knit. Once I figured out it is supposed to be knit flat and then seamed at the back, but I decided to just knit it in around. So there's a lot of purling now involved, but I'm okay with that. Once I figured that, the first couple rounds I didn't, so there's this little bit of stockinette, but I don't really care that much. But the funny thing was, so Miss Babs Katahdin is 17,500, or 1,750 yards, not 17,000, that would be ridiculous. 1,750 yards of a skein, and it is gigantic. And so I just have a royal ball winder, just a normal ball winder. And I'm like, how am I going to wind this? So I just put it on the Swift and wound it until I really couldn't wind anymore, which is this gigantic thing. And then instead of hand winding it, because there was a lot left, I stuck this. I have an extra, I have a flat Swift. I don't know if you've seen those. It's like a tabletop Swift, and it comes with an extra peg. So I just stuck this on a peg in the middle of the Swift, and then took from the other end of the skein and wound the other half. Well, it's a little less than half, but it worked out quite well. So now I have one continuous skein of 1,750 yards, just like I wound my socks with that, not cutting it. So that worked out, because I was like, I really didn't want to cut it. I mean, it's kind of the point of buying Katahdin, is that you have this huge, gigantic skein that you don't have to cut, or that you don't have to weave in as many ends. Anyway, now I'm trying to get it back in my bag. So I thought I was pretty ingenious coming up with this idea, which I'm really enjoying. And I'm keeping it in the bag that I got from Amelia. So this is the Amelia project. Hello, Amelia! So I'm really loving that. I probably will go down in needle size, but I really just wanted another sweater. So yeah, that's that. The other thing is my Spock socks, which I have been working a lot on. Ta-da! They're now much further. They are going very, very quickly. I have ripped, these would probably be done if I hadn't ripped them back. I think it's now a total of 4 times. The first one was, so last time I was talking about the striping anomaly. That was the first time I ripped it back. So I had this problem where one sock, because I knit them 2 at a time, one sock, the stripes, my gauge must have been tighter, so the stripes were coming up sooner. The changes were coming up sooner than the other sock, which was really bothering me. So I started knitting once. I marked which sock was which, and then started knitting one tighter than the other. And then the stripes were way off, and it looked terrible because you could totally tell that one was knit at a tighter gauge than the other, and they felt weird, and I was like, this is not going to work. So I ripped back to before I started doing that. Luckily, with the stripes, it's really easy to rip back. So what I do is I take the needle, and I just pick up stitches, right along the top of a stripe, so then I know I'm getting the same row, and then just pull it out. And then it's already on the needle, so you don't have to tink back, because that, when you have large amounts of ripping back, it's just ridiculous. So I did that. I think I just did that much, so it wasn't that bad. And then I knit to probably about here, which was right above the heel. It worked out perfectly that the black, I was going to insert the same yarn that I did here for the heel, but it worked out perfectly that the black just was in the back of the heel, and I was okay with the front not having a black stripe. So that worked out quite well. And so I didn't do my typical gusseted heel. I mean, I did do a small gusset, but it's a really short one, really, really short, because I realized all of a sudden, I need to put the heel in. So I put the heel in, and I got to, I think, about here, and I put them on to try them on, and they were really pulling across the top of the heel. I was like, I think I just started the heel too late, and there wasn't enough of a gusset for it to have extra room, and it was a problem. Plus there was it was bad. So I ripped back to just, I think, right here, which is right before the heel, right before I did the gusset increases, which is right after that gold stripe, and added some more gussets. I added some gusset on the top of the foot, which you can see right there, really tiny. And then I added some on the bottom and knit that, and that worked out. And then, what was the third rip? So on the side of the sock, you can see here that I've added in purl stitches, the Star Trek emblem or symbol thing. And you can kind of see that. It's subtle. It's supposed to be subtle. And the first one I did, I charted it out on my computer, and I thought, that looks good. And then I knit it up, and it was way wide and way short. Just the way the knit stitches worked out looked very different than the computer. So I shrunk the size of the cells, and I did it in Excel. And I just shrunk the row height so that it looked more like it would on the sock, and redid it on the computer. And I counted the number of rows, I think down here, that were between the black stripes, and figured that out and recharted it, and it turned out much better the second time. So this is another free chart that I will have available along with the Batgirl chart, or the Batman symbol, Batgirl symbol chart thing. So that was another rip back. And then the fourth one was I had started this black stripe, and I hadn't been thinking, and I just started knitting it, just plain stockinette. And then I ran out of black, and I was like, well, I want to start the ribbing. So I started the ribbing and added the other black. And it just looked weird. It was like, the ribbing really needs to start at the beginning of the black. So I ripped back, I don't know, 6 or 7 rows and started it then. So it worked out. And now I'm on the ribbing, and hopefully I won't have to rip back another time. But that's the beauty of knitting, is that you can rip back and fix things. And you always regret not doing it. So I'm okay with that. They still went really fast, and I will probably finish them today. So ta-da! And there is the symbols on both the outside of both socks. Or what could be the inside, but probably be the outside. There's no inside and outside on my socks generally. So, the yarn is Turtle Purl in the Live Long and Prosper colorway. And the black is the Loopy Solid series. So, ta-da! That's that. And that is living in my Stitched by Jessalou Star Trek bag, which is just the perfect size for socks. Oh, come on. Now it's not cooperating. There we go. I also have a lot of other things in here, so it's getting quite full. And the other thing I cast on, so I told you I have a lot of things to show you, is I started my new design that I have been thinking about for ages. And finally, last night, I had some time. I was like, I'm just going to do this. I have half an hour. I've been thinking about this for days, weeks, months. I'm going to do it. So this is the Leading Wind Fiber Arts in their Soliloquy base, which is a light fingering, and the skein has 650 yards. So it's a nice, generous skein. And this is the colorway Glacial, which I have been drooling over for quite some time. So when I was picking one for a new design, I was like, I need something in this colorway. And so they said, well, we don't really have a whole lot in our Soliloquy base. I said, perfect, I'll do a shawl. So it's going to be a crescent-shaped shawl. So it's not half circle, so it won't have the top be flat. It'll curve, which I find is easier to wear. And I don't know how much of this is actually going to stay, but it's going to have sections separated by eyelets, and the sections are going to be your choice of patterning. I'm going to have a slew of options from which you can choose, and so it'll be a little bit of a choose your own adventure shawl. And I already have a name, but I'm not going to share it yet, but it fits quite well. And so depending, on how you're feeling that evening, you can say, hey, I just want some stockinette or some garter stitch, or I want to try that complicated lace or cable pattern. That sounds fun. So it kind of depends, how you're feeling, because sometimes you just want stockinette, and sometimes you're like, ooh, I want to try something challenging. So there are lots of options. And so that's what I have so far. I started out with a stockinette section. I'm trying to do every single stitch pattern that I have picked out in this sample. You don't have to. You can do all stockinette, you can do all of crazy cables and lace, or whatever you want. So I'm trying to still figure out the numbers and all that. I mean, I have the idea and it seems really grand in my head, and now I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. It'll be really cool if I can pull it off, so that's the fun thing. So that's what I have so far. I did a stockinette section, and then the eyelets, and then a textured section, and then some more eyelets. And now I'm doing one of the cabled ones. I've just started it, but I think I have to rip back because I made a mistake somewhere. So that's coming along, and will hopefully turn into something soon. I'm excited about it. I also have actually 2 sock designs that I have in my head, and the other shawl for my grandmother. So, speaking of my grandmother, we're going to skip to from the mainland because I have some things to show you that were sent to me from Hawaii, or via Hawaii from Europe, because my parents were in Europe visiting my grandfather and family over there, and then they were going through my grandmother's things, and so my mom said, do you want any of these things? And to many of them I said yes, so they shipped them to me when they got home from Hawaii because it's a lot cheaper. So the biggest thing I got was this. It's I guess it's call it a stole. It's huge, and it's definitely wool, and it's got like a feather and fan pattern on it. It's very simple, and at the ends it's got these pink stripes and some fringe, and it's very beautiful. It's definitely knit. I'm assuming she knit it. So this is, I'm going to, I had been thinking, so I wanted to do a sock pattern in her honor because I had started the socks for her the day she passed away. And so I wanted to design something in her honor, and I was thinking of something like this. So I think this is going to be the pattern. So that'll be really special to have something that she knit, and I mean it's a fairly common pattern, but that the shawl is something that she knit into an actual shawl, and then anyway, it works out. So this needs to be washed because it has been sitting for a while. It's a little felted, but it is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if I'll wear it or just hang it as like a decoration somewhere, but I couldn't let that go to just anybody. But, it's important to keep things that are family things. Anyway, so that's that. And the other things that my mom sent me was this pattern. She found like a half knit sweater. And I said, well, I can either finish it or if you have a pattern. So she found the pattern. It is entirely in check. So we're going to see what happens here. But I do like the pattern. And, oh, it looks like there's other patterns here too. There's that one, which I think is that, which looks really cool. So we're going to try and figure these out. Looks like there's a whole slew of patterns in here. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be interesting. And then she'd made like some little notes in check and like sewed this swatch to it, which is kind of fun. There's also these sheets of swatches, like little crocheted swatches that she had made. And they're sewn to the cardboard, which I think is kind of a really cool idea. So here's another one. So these look like crocheted edgings of sorts. Oh, there's even one on the back. And then here's the last one. I think this is my favorite. So maybe one day I'll like put these in a frame and in my craft room when I have one. But I just thought those were really special. This is another one. I don't know if this is woven or what's going on here. But they were very cool. So I said, please send those to me. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. But I'll figure it out. They're flat, so they're easy to store. And I also got a whole slew of like little crochet doilies. I think these two are similar. And I think these came from there too. I got a pin that is very beautiful. I think it's like clay or something. I mean, it's definitely handmade. Looks like she glued some sort of fabric on the back to get a safety pin on there so you can pin it on. And then this is a pendant that's a dice. which is really fun. It's missing some of the, I don't know what you call it. I think you put like little nails or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I just thought it was really cool. I didn't know half these things were coming. I knew some of them were coming. And then I got a whole bag of buttons. So I got some more buttons, and they're really colorful buttons. I got a whole bunch of red ones, and some green ones, and some like brown and tan ones. And then there's, ooh, these are really cool. These blue ones, I got a whole host of those. So that'll be fun to add to my button stash. And that's it from my grandmother. So that was from the mainland. Those were the fun things that I got in the mail. I think I had them last time, but I had forgotten to bring them out. What's next? Oh, set sail. I had some things set sail. I finished the baby sweaters, mainly because the baby shower was yesterday. So I finished them Friday night. I sewed on the buttons, which were absolutely adorable. And I recorded a short segment yesterday to show you the baby sweaters. So I will insert that right here so you can see them. Hello from yesterday. I'm here to show you the adorable baby sweaters that I knit up for the baby shower that I'm about to go to. So I would have saved them for tomorrow when I usually record, but I wanted to show them to you because in all their adorableness before I wrap them up and take them. It didn't do them justice just to like show a picture. So here are the baby Sophisticates that I knit, and the pattern is by, where is it, Linden down, and the blue one, let's see if I can get the collar to fold correctly. Ta-da! So here's the blue one, and the blue is Holiday Yarns in their Super Sheep DK in Starry Night is the colorway. And the buttons are from GnomeAcres. They're these adorable robots with little hearts on them, and I just think they're so cute. So this is baby sweater number 1, and baby sweater number 2 was knit out of Linden Fiber Arts Dramaturg, which is their DK base, in Poison Apple, which is this lovely, lovely red color, and they have the same buttons. And both are trimmed out of Sunvalley Fibers. I think it's just called their BFL DK in Kent, is it? And it's a lovely dark gray. And I just think they are so cute. I actually have to wrap them up in like 5 seconds before I head out. But I just wanted to show you. They're just so cute. So I'm very excited to give these. And I still have a bunch of yarn left over. I know I was so paranoid, and which is about running out of yarn, which is why I got a different color for the trim. But I'm actually glad I did that. It makes them more cohesive as a pair. But I have, let's see if we can get that much yarn left over. So I have a ton. I don't have time, obviously, to knit anything else for today. But I'm probably going to knit definitely some booties to match, and maybe some hats if I have enough yarn. We'll see. I'm picking cat hair on, but they're not allergic to cats, so we're okay. But, well, I don't know if the babies are, but the parents aren't, so that's good. And so, yeah, so I'm going to knit some other matching things out of them since I have this yarn, and they're so cute. So I thought, yeah. So I knit them, I knit the larger size, but I knit them down in needle size. I think they're supposed to be knit on size 8. So I knit the 3 to 6 month size, I think. So, because they're due around Thanksgiving time. So I thought this will be good for their first winter. And I usually try, well, this is like the second and third baby sweater I've ever knit. I tend to make them larger because I know that a lot of people buy newborn clothes, and the newborn, they grow out of them so quickly. So I thought I'll knit them a little larger so that they can wear them for a little longer, hopefully through their first winter and into the spring. And then I'm going to tell the parents that If the sweaters are still in fairly good condition, we'll see. You know, they are babies. I can like give them back to me, and I'll knit like a toy or something out of them. So something else useful, or maybe a hat if I don't have enough or something. So we'll see. We'll just like keep on, you know, reknitting these into something else. So that's that. I washed and blocked them, and I sewed on the buttons last night. And now I'm wondering, I don't think the buttons are washable. They're wood. They're probably okay. We'll see. They're baby sweaters. They're just cute. That's all. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling now and get you back to your regularly scheduled programming. See ya. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the adorableness that is those baby sweaters. I was so excited about them. Everyone at the baby shower loved them. They were a huge hit. The mother was very excited. It's like, you know, some of the other, you know, baby clothes we might pass on, you know, as they grow out of them. But oh no, we're holding on to those sweaters. So that was really fun. I'm pretty sure I won the gift giving competition. Not like there was one. It was funny though. One of my friends leaned over to me after the mother had opened them and said, I wouldn't want to be the present to follow that one. There were like cheers and like oohs and ahs. I felt really good about my baby sweaters. But then the present she opened up right after that was another knitted item. So it was these adorable little bunny toys. So I was like, okay, that's then I don't feel so bad for the person who has to come after me. So those were also a huge hit. One of my other friends was like, I don't even remember what presents she opened after that. I'm like, I don't think anyone does, because we had passed around the bunnies and the baby sweaters. So everyone was looking at those. And I mean, she got another, of course, adorable baby clothes and helpful things like, you know, diapers and car seats and burp cloths and all the things you need for babies. So that was really cute. So that was fun. I enjoyed that baby shower and got to see a lot of my friends. That was exciting. And so that was it for Set Sail. Next we have Flora and Fauna. And I wanted to, I shared earlier about the self-striping anomaly that I discovered last week. And what I ended up doing to fix it, I don't think I talked about when I was showing the Spock socks, was that as I was getting to a color change, like about to do the color change, I would kind of see where I was, like which sock was ahead of the other one. And then I would knit one tighter than the other, or knit one a little looser and one a little tighter, just to kind of make them change at the same time. So instead of doing it for multiple rows, I would just do it for maybe a row or row and a half at the most, and then the color change would be even. So that was a nice way of keeping the color changes even without having to drastically change my gauge, because it was just kind of ridiculous. I don't even know what was going on. It just seemed weird to me that my socks do this. So, oh well, we'll see. It worked out. I figured out a way to make it work, so that's good. The other thing that as I was perusing Ravelry the other day, was that I don't know if everyone knows that there are pattern highlights for everyone. If you go to the pattern tab and you have, I don't know how to do this mirrored, but if I'm looking at it in the patterned tab here, up here there's like the search thing, or you can click on advanced search, and I mean, we probably all know how to do that. And then on this side I forget what's on the top, but underneath this, so not a place people normally look, there are pattern highlights that some Ravelry algorithm picks out for you based off of things that you've knit, things that you've favorited, things that you've queued, things that, you know, like designers that you've favorited, any new patterns they have out, or maybe things that your friends like or that have been really popular. So you can click on that link, and for every day it has, you know, pattern highlights for this day, you know, things you might be interested in. So if you want some pattern inspiration or any sort of inspiration, you can go to this pattern highlights page and see what Ravelry has picked out for you, which is kind of fun. Some things I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I did that. And some things you're like, oh yes, Ravelry knew what it was doing there. So that was kind of fun to explore that the other day. And the other thing you can do is, I think it's in the Friends tab or the People tab. You can see what your friends are doing in terms of like posting pictures, what they're knitting, what they're favoriting. That's another way to get inspiration. So if you're needing some pattern inspiration, you can also just watch podcasts. That's another way I get inspiration for patterns or for yarn or things like that. So that was my Flora and Fauna for today. I did from the mainland. From my Hale, I wanted to share that contrary to what it might seem, I'm definitely totally an introvert. I know I sit here and talk to a camera, but really it's kind of like talking to myself. So sometimes the cat listens, although right now he's asleep on the floor, and sometimes my husband's here and he listens or not. But the other day, I took a day off work, just a total introvert day. My husband had to work all day, and so it was perfect. I just took the day off work, and it was just a mental health day. I really felt like I needed this after like Gen Con and stitches and work, and I just really needed a break. So that's when a lot of knitting got done. That's when the new sweater got cast on. That's when the other sweater got fixed. A lot of other things. It was just really nice to have a day just to do what I wanted. Like, I got up when I wanted. I didn't feel any pressure to do things that I had to do. I mean, there were a few things that I had to do that I, got done here and there, but I went and sit outside, which I really enjoy doing, and I had some Doctor Who comics that I read, because I had taken the sweater to cast on and then realized that I had forgotten the needles halfway to the leg. I mean, it's not that far. I could have turned around, but I already had all the comics. I was like, I'll just read, and it was kind of warm outside, so casting on with wool, and it wouldn't have worked out well. So I came back inside and cast on. So that worked out well. But that was just a really nice day to just take a day for myself. I really needed that. And I didn't feel guilty about it. I may feel guilty now about it, but that's okay. It's okay to take those kinds of days. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know why I wanted to share that, but if you're an introvert, it's okay to take introvert days. It's okay. I just really needed some introverting time. And then I felt much better. Ta-da! And I had lots of knitting done. And I felt I had the brain space to, really work on my new design. And then I had a bunch of ideas for the website. And, then I had another sock pattern come into my head, things like that. So it was really nice to just kind of clear out a lot of the stress that was occupying my brain and fill it with things that I really enjoy doing. So, yay for that. And I think that is it for today, because we have to leave soon for my husband's quartet is performing, and I run their sound, so we're going to go do that. And I will have this episode updated or edited and uploaded later today. So have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.